Hey, what's good, y'all? So we finally made it through the regular season, 2023 NFL season. So now we're at the part that we all been waiting for, NFL playoffs, Wildcard weekend coming up. So I'm just gonna talk about some of the wildcard games, starting with AFC. This one is probably the one I'm most excited about. Cleveland going into Houston, rematch from a couple of weeks ago. CJ Stroud's playing in this one, we all know. And I'm sure a lot of Browns fans is feeling conflicted because they're rooting against CJ Stroud, due to the fact most of them are Ohio State fans. Yeah, man, Houston, they've been riding real high. They just beat Indianapolis to win the division, knocked Indianapolis out of the playoffs. And, CJ Stroud's had one of the greatest rookie seasons we've ever seen from a QB. And with that being said, I like Cleveland in this matchup. I do feel like Cleveland's pass rush may be a bit too much for Houston and CJ Stroud. I also like Cleveland's run defense a lot, and they do have the DBs to kind of keep their weapons in check. Nico Collins, he exploded for damn near 200 yards against the Colts. I don't think he'll do that against Cleveland. Dalton Schultz, he's a solid tight end. I think Cleveland could also keep him in check as well. And Cleveland, they've done a real good job running the ball on opponents. They've done really great, ever since they lost Nick Chubb. So yeah, I could see this being maybe a 6-point game. It still probably come within a touchdown, but I like Cleveland to get this one on the road. All right, so next up we got Miami going into Kansas City. Tyreek Hill going back to Kansas City on the road. And I feel like the Chiefs are going to win this game. This is also a rematch. They played in London earlier this season at a neutral field, but now with this being in Missouri and the wind chill, well, not the wind chill, but the weather's expected to be like 0 degrees, I really don't think Miami's going to pull this one off. And also on top of that, they have a lot of injuries. They lost both of their edge rushers, and that they just haven't looked that good lately. Ever since they lost to Tennessee, they've just looked, kind of a shell of themselves from what they were back in, September, October, early November. And the Chiefs, they've struggled offensively all season long. So I'm really leaning on the defense to get this done. I do think Pat Mahomes is going to have a decent game. I think Kelsey's going to have a decent game. But I'm looking to see the Chiefs run the ball a lot and their defense get the stops they need, maybe even a couple of turnovers. So I'm picking Kansas City in that one. Next up, we got Pittsburgh going into Buffalo. I feel like this is a super intriguing matchup, mainly to the fact that Buffalo has been pretty inconsistent this season. I could really see Pittsburgh getting the upset on the road. I'm not going to lie with you, but I'm gonna stick to Buffalo. I think they get the job done first round. No telling what the weather going to look like. I'm expecting it to be a snow game, but I think Josh Allen and Buffalo's run defense can wear down Pittsburgh's defense, especially with TJ Watt not playing this weekend either. But I do expect it to be a pretty physical matchup between both those teams. But yeah, I'll take Buffalo. So that right there pretty much concludes my thoughts on the AFC wildcard weekend. All three of those teams I picked are favored to win. I just don't see too many surprises this weekend. I feel like the most possible upset could probably be Houston over Cleveland if they get it, if they really get the offense going against that defense. So moving on to the NFC, we got Philadelphia going on the road against Tampa Bay. I know a lot of people they're probably fading Philadelphia in the spot, and I don't blame them. To be honest, I kind of thought about doing the same thing. They just haven't looked good. They're probably the worst team in the playoffs as of right now. I still like Philadelphia's O-line in comparison to Tampa Bay's D-line. It's also not lost on me that Baker Mayfield, he's fighting through a couple of injuries right now. So I'm going to go with Philadelphia to grab this one on the road. I'm not. It's not that I'm not sold on Tampa Bay because they can definitely pull it off. But in this spot, I'm just leaning towards the more experienced team. I feel like Philadelphia, they're also built to overcome some adversity as well. So I think they get the dub in Tampa. All right, next up, we got Detroit versus the Rams. Lions hosting their first playoff game in Lord knows how long. And, Matthew Stafford's homecoming game. I expect this one to be a shootout. If any game's going to be a shootout this coming weekend, it's probably going to be this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Matthew Stafford threw for like 325 yards on this Lions secondary. I'm not sold on Detroit's defense at all. A final score of 41-38 wouldn't surprise me. Maybe even 45-42. Like, I really think it's just going to be lights out performance from both teams. So with that being said, I'm going to take Detroit, but I am worried about Sam Laporta's injury. I feel like if he doesn't play, then I could see a lot of people leaning towards Rams. I know a lot of people are picking the Rams to win. They're definitely a huge underdog pick going into this weekend, but I like Detroit to get the win at home. They've been pretty great at home too, to say the least. All right, so next up we have Green Bay going into Dallas. I'm not going to say too much about this one. Honestly, I think Green Bay is going to get steamrolled. I'm just going to put it out there. Dallas has been lights out at home all season long. Like, they've just been tearing opponents up who come in their stadium. And with this being Jordan Love's first playoff game, I feel like it's going to look like his first playoff game. Yeah, I got Dallas winning by double digits, probably 13, 14 points. I could see it being around that number for sure. I think CeeDee Lamb has another big game. I think Dak is going to go crazy. And I'm expecting Dallas's defense to get a turnover or two as well. So yeah, those are my wild card picks. Some of y'all probably gonna think they're boring because I didn't pick any like real upsets. But yeah, just to recap, I got Cleveland winning on the road in Houston. I got Kansas City knocking off Miami. And I have Buffalo beating Pittsburgh in the AFC. NFC, I got the Lions over the Rams. I got Philly getting it done on the road against Tampa. And I got Dallas winning big against Green Bay. So, yeah, if y'all think otherwise, comment in the video or leave a comment if y'all think otherwise. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we'll see what happens.